Mighty Time Sports is brought to you by Terrible General Health System's Community Sports Institute in conjunction with Barker Honda.
All right, welcome to a little sports action right here on HTV. And if you missed it, just a few days ago at the Civic Center, it was rocking. A lot of people from out of town coming to see Houma, Louisiana, and it's all because of our guest sitting on the news desk with me, Ricky Folse. Yes, for public dissemination, we are related down the line, so don't hold that against him or me, all right? All right, Ricky, how you doing?
Good morning, man. How are you?
I'm doing good. And, of course, Ricky is the founder of After the Mission. He's also the owner of Trionator. He does so many things. He rode his bike. How many miles you rode your bike again?
2,400.
2,400 miles.
With a 80-pound trailer hooked to the bike with a sign said biking for veterans, which was not fun in a headwind.
Right. Yeah, no doubt. And, of course, we did a lot of coverage on that. And that's one of the reasons I want to have you on is because, you know, we've seen a lot of fights. We've seen a lot of people promoting events. But I love to have people on this set when they promote for veterans. And you've been promoting for veterans quite a bit. You've raised a lot of money. And it's all because of a dream you have. We're going to talk about that in a second. But let's go back to the Civic Center. That was a big production. You had a lot of things going on.
Yeah, Justin Vernon, when I was on the bike ride, I kept thinking, what can I do next to really draw some attention? And I knew that if I came out of retirement and did one more fight, that the amount of people that would get involved in it and the amount of energy accumulated with the bike ride, that it would be a good turnout. So the fight wasn't so important to me. I did train for it very well. But the main thing was that I could use that as a platform to spread my message. And at the same time, let every veteran that attended or watching on the live stream know that this event was to say thank you for your service and to bring awareness to homeless veterans and PTSD. The whole reason I did the bike ride is because I lost a very good friend of mine during COVID. He basically gave up and drank himself to death with PTSD-induced alcoholism. And 1 week before I left, another buddy passed away. We attended his funeral, who's actually the main event fighter Melvin's best friend and coach, and also a very close person to my VP, which is Lori Williams, the West Point graduate, combat Army female veteran. So when I was on the bike ride, I kept seeing so much suffering. I was going into the homeless camps, finding the veterans, look them in the eye and say, look, I'm riding this bike because this 1,500 miles, which after I got to Key West, decided to go towards D.C., became 2,400. I'm doing this because I care about you, and I want you to know you are not forgotten. And myself and all the good people like yourself, Martin, and Keith and everybody that interviewed me, but all the donors and stuff from Houma and all over the states as it picked up, we want better things for you. We are here to help and stand up for you. And then I met amazing people on the bike ride. The mayor of Key West and was going to fly in with one of the sponsors. They were all coming, but their pilot got sick with COVID Saturday morning. They couldn't make it. They still donated a large amount. So we missed the mayor of Key West coming. But Robert Couture, the gentleman that introduced me into the ring, is the head of public affairs for the VFW. He's a big contact that's helping me put together my dream, which we'll speak about. But he flew in on his own dime just to come support me. So I said, man, if you're going to do that, will you please do me the honor and announce me into the ring? So it was great to have him there. One of our ring girls was a West Point graduate, Army Intelligence, and mother of 3 kids. She drove in, a combat female veteran also. She drove in as a volunteer to come ring girl and support her fellow veterans and to show her support in this event.
But you also had, I saw Joe Waits Jr., the district attorney, go to support you. I saw Hunt Downer, General,
two-star general.
I saw the sheriff, Tim Saunier, there. I saw Joseph Waits, Joseph's son, there also. So Giselle, he even brought his wife to see the fight. So it's got to make you feel good that the brass of Terrebonne Parish 2 went to support your cause. And, of course, whenever you tie something in with veterans, it's a big deal.
When they called me into the ring, it gave me that proclamation or award was. It was such an honor to be in there with Joe, Tim, and General Hunt Down at the same time. Because I called Joe and Tim. I said, please do what y'all can to get Hunt to come. They said, we're going to work on it. And Hunt came. You know, he normally wouldn't go to. A lot of people wasn't really even fight fans, but they were fans of veterans, and that's why they came out. So when I got out the ring, I spent an hour walking up to every single person I could and say, thank you so much for coming. And the ones that they like, yeah, I'm a veteran, thank you. I'd ask them, I said, as a veteran, do you feel appreciated with this event? They said, absolutely, more than ever before. I said, then the mission is accomplished no matter what happened with my fight. It was about the veterans feel appreciated and the message. So now I do have some big supporters, all the names that we just mentioned, the locals, and a bunch of others that are going to get behind my dream. So they see that my drive is unstoppable. It's in the false blood. We don't give up, and I'm too hard-headed to stop. So they know that, and they know my cause is legit and from the heart. So the dream will come true.
Let me ask you this as we're going to our first break. It's got to make you feel good because a lot of people downplay Houma where they could have an event. But if you walked in that Civic Center and saw the production and you saw the people flying in, like you said, like Robert and others coming from the Pentagon and different areas, it had a different feel to it on that night.
It did, and I do have to say, I have to thank Justin Verdan for allowing me to do such a great event with him because, he was a little leery on putting on a big event like that, but he trusted me and he knew he wanted my cause to grow. So Justin, I got to thank him for stepping up with me, and it was very stressful on both of us the last few days. We had issues going on that we pulled through at the last minute, but I definitely, I'm going to take maybe a week or two to myself and then get back on the grind.
I will say this, we'll come back and talk about it in the second segment, but for you to be not only promoting the fight, but in the fight, it's double duty. And all right, we're going to take this segment. We'll have a segment 3 with Ricky Folse coming back, but I wanted to use this segment because Jen Holohan and Parker Haydell were with me at the Civic Center, and we caught up with a few important people that came to Houma because this was a veterans event, so they wanted to make sure they came down to support Ricky and Justin and the cause. First of all, thank you for serving our country.
Thank you for your support.
Yeah, no doubt. And what does this mean tonight that Ricky puts on a big event to honor veterans and take care of veterans? Of course, you're a veteran, hits close to home, but isn't that nice to know that in Houma, Louisiana, you're going to be welcomed?
Support is great everywhere. It is really, really important that we support not only active duty members, but we also support our retirees. Organizations like After the Mission are focused on their issues and connecting them with resources that they really need. So events like this are great. It's great to reach out to the community and remind them that, over 800,000 people serve. And it's really important that because they take care of us, we take care of them.
All right, joining me, Sergeant Jody Moon. She also served in Afghanistan, and as always, thank you for your service.
Oh, absolutely. It was a pleasure.
Yeah. Let me ask you, it's a big event tonight. It's going to be fun, and it's all for a great cause, all spotlighting veterans and what y'all been through and what y'all do. Doesn't it make you feel good that a big event like this really comes back full frontal to you all and what y'all have done?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you can absolutely feel the energy. I felt the energy outside just making my way in. It matters a lot. I mean, I don't know if Lori told you, but I drove over here from Orlando to be a part of this because it's meaningful and it matters to give back to our community of veterans. So.
All right, we're with Robert Couture. Let me make sure I say that right. In French, we say couture. But anyway, Robert's with the VFW out of Washington, D.C., and he's here. And what you think about this event that honors veterans? It's got to make you happy.
Absolutely, Martin. So I'm the Director of Communications and Public Affairs for the Washington office of the VFW. And the 1.5 million members of the VFW and its auxiliary is always encouraged when we see regular Americans that are supporting the veteran community. We fight really hard in Capitol Hill. We fight for veterans benefits around the country with our VA, and to see somebody else fighting for our veterans, it just does the heart good.
Yeah, and I got to give a plug to my cousin Ricky Folse, just for total transparency out there, but Ricky really does a great job promoting, doesn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. An amazing man. I caught him right after he had gone from down here in Louisiana, along the coast, all the way up to Washington, D.C., riding more than 2,000 miles, all for the cause of veterans, visiting veterans and encampments, homeless veterans and encampments and underpasses along the way, letting them know that he's out there for them. And I just could not pass up the opportunity then to interview him for the podcast.
What does this mean for you being a veteran and coming. You know, a lot of times we forget about our veterans. We try not to on our channel for sure. Ricky tries not to as he promotes them. What does that mean to you, a veteran, to see people doing events for veterans?
You know, last year was a tough year for a lot of veterans. With the end of Afghanistan, I'm an Afghan war vet myself.
And thank you for that.
Hey, you know, it was my honor to do it on behalf of you and the rest of the country, my family and everybody. And I served so that way people wouldn't have to, right? But when the war came to an end the way that it did last year, a lot of us veterans felt despondent. Many of us thought, man, this must have been the way our father's generation felt at like the fall of Saigon.
No doubt.
You know, so when you have this kind of an event, that remembers veterans, that understands issues with PTSD, toxic exposure that happens, you know, because of our time in Afghanistan and the Persian Gulf, and you know, even Agent Orange, to things like other mental health issues and economic, you know, insecurities. For them to come together, for this group here in Homa to come together, and really from all over the country, to fight on behalf of veterans, to bleed and fight for those that fought and bled for this country, it's amazing.
All right, we have Colonel Myron Fonseca. We're going to say Fonseca because he's in South Louisiana. And first of all, thank you for what you do for our country.
Oh, yes, sir. I really appreciate it. And it's a good day in Homa, Louisiana right now as we come down to the Civic Center to help support Ricky's cause of after the mission. And my 31 years in the military and coming back home every now and then, to me, that's right on point. Because when you get back home, that's the key things that you got to look for: the family, your employer, friends, and the VA to take care of you. But as we all know, most of us know that they got a lot of nonprofit organizations in the United States over there that take care of veterans. And from my experience over there, unless you go ask for help, or a family member notice something that's not right, and get them to those organizations, because they got all the money, they got everything needed, they got the technology, but the veteran has to agree to go over there and get taken care of. And I'm over here supporting Ricky on that right there because there's a good cause, adding another one, because I don't think there's going to be enough nonprofit organization to take care of all the veterans. Especially right now, we still got things going on in our country, and when our soldiers, ladies, and men come back, we want to make sure they're taken care of. That's not one time I put on my dog tags and my boots and said, I don't feel like going to work today. So that's the biggest thing. And then just like any job, you got to love it, have a passion, be a patriot, that you out there, and you might not know if you're going to come back home walking off the plane or in a body bag. So it's just that I didn't have that in my mind at all of all the times I was in combat. I just did my job and I came back home.
Colonel, thank you so much
It's my pleasure,
for being here, and enjoy your night.
Oh, I surely will over there. I got a good seat right now, and I'm going to support Ricky, whatever he wants to do after the fact.
All right, we're back. You saw those important interviews with a lot of important people coming into Terrebonne Parish because of Ricky Folse and others who are putting on events that really, really put the veterans in the forefront. We need to continue to do that as a station. We love that. We've always honored our veterans. Ricky's no different. And Ricky, you found time to fight in the event, to promote the event, to run your company, to try to find property, to start off this retreat center for veterans. How do you find the time?
First of all, I got a very good team that stepped up to help me with my nonprofit. I have a Army captain, retired West Point graduate, but honors Lori Williams, Captain Lori Williams, Afghan combat vet. She's really stepped up to help me. I got a great team with my tree company out of Burley's. The Burleys helped me a lot, and they told me, go bid the jobs and then go train, let us do the work. So that was a big step up. But honestly, it was a lot, between that and building a nonprofit, as well as the event we put on in Memorial Day weekend at the Canal Bar, which we had a good 300-person turnout. It was very stressful, a lot of pressure, but nothing compared to what our veterans went through. So I was happy to do it.
As you move forward, you're going to be going to talk to people about, I think the sheriff might have told you have an in to try to find some property, and you're looking for property. So we'll put it out there. You're looking for, what, about 15 acres on the water somewhere?
12 to 15 acres on any kind of canal where I could put a dock and a gazebo, where the veterans can go in, they could go sit by the water, clear their head, they can go kayaking and maybe fish a little bit. But I want to call it Valhalla on the bayou. Valhalla is a word of warriors, and it's all warriors that are veterans that are going to be there. We're going to have it's going to be in phases. Phase one's going to be get the property, possibly a playground for veterans with single parents, a building for veterans to have meetings, a softball field, and it needs to be somewhat wooded in some of the area. We're going to have a nature trail in there. That was the sheriff's idea, as well as it being on the water. But after this weekend, I know that Hunt, Joe Waits, and the sheriff, and a good friend of mine, Harvey Sharp, they were talking. And by the end of the night, they came to me and they said, Rick, find your property. We're going to help you do this. So we're going to run it through after the mission, and it's going to be ran by veterans. I'm just a racehorse. That's way above my pay grade to run to something like this. But we got a few West Point graduates that are retiring soon from the military. Many of them are at the fight that are going to probably come down and get on board with this once it's up in the making. It'll be multiple phases. Once that first phase, as the retreat is done, second phase, we're going to put a couple tiny homes there to get veterans off the street. If they're coming out of rehab or they're coming off the street, we'll get them a place to stay. It's not just going to be getting them off the street and put a roof over their head. It's going to be transitioning housing. So they'll be counseled by the veterans. It'll be ran by veterans, of course. We'll get them jobs with people who care about veterans. That it's not going to be some college kid telling this veteran who's over hundreds of men and millions of dollars worth of equipment to go push a broom. They're going to be appreciated. And according to their disabilities or their PTA, whatever their qualifications topped out at, we'll get them somewhere. Even if it's washing dishes at a place, something where they could wake up and have something to do. Or it could be
Have a purpose.
Yeah, a mission. Because when they come back, they have no more mission. That's why we call it after the mission. In the third phase, eventually in a few years, I'd like to put an apartment complex where I see, this in Florida. I want a bike ride. I studied this and talked to the people who built it, but I want to bring it into one. It'll be for low-income housing for veterans and their families that can't afford normal housing. It'll be a place where they can live a lot cheaper. And it's veteran-based. Only
Let me
vets.
ask you too. I remember covering events in the early days when I first started. It was all men. I went to Nichols one time for a big fight they had. All men in the ring. Get to the Civic Center, they got a lot of women mixing it up
fights,
in the
that
ring.
was good. There was some good fights. Them little girls, them gals, man.
Yeah.
I didn't get to see them because I was in the back, but I heard everybody say, man, them girl fights were good.
Yeah, they're competitive.
They
Just
are.
like they are in sports now. So we got to give the women their due because they've sort of stepped up. They fought for the equality in a lot of the sports. It's no different. This is a sport. They get up there and they're competitive. They don't want to lose either, do they?
They do not. And look, the only reason this event went so smooth is because the women of the military that stepped in and helped me. Even my own little production crew that I had there, they are veteran owned. It was at the Memorial Day. They filmed and they're putting together a package for after the mission and present the sponsors. And look, if it wouldn't have been for her, for Deanna, Lori, my VP, she really saved us. She helped me just a lot. So the women in the military that volunteered for free for weeks and months on this really made it what it was.
So let's do this. We got about a minute and a half left. Just tell someone in the audience. I know you got guys like Harvey Sharp, Joe Waits Jr., Hunt Downer, Sheriff Tim Saunier. They're behind you. But there might be somebody watching that says, hey, I want to get involved with that too, or may have been a veteran and may want to step up. Tell them how they could get involved.
You can go to afterthemission.net and contact us, or you can go to Facebook After the Mission, as well as Instagram, or you can call 504-544-3888. That's my direct line for the After the Mission.
All right, there you go. Ricky Folse doing a great job with this cause. And like I say, I've been knowing Ricky for a long time. His passion to do things for the veterans. You can't find anybody more passionate. And people do different things. Danny Piku does a lot of things for the veterans. Ricky does things for the veterans.
Timmy Fungi.
We as a station do things for the veterans, but you got to all get together and help. So go to those websites, see what you could donate. Every little bit helps. And if you know anybody with 15 acres of land right on the water, give Ricky a call. Give me that number one more time, Ricky.
504-544-3888.
All right, Ricky, thank you so much for what you did,
Thanks,
for what you are doing. And we'll take a short break here. We'll be right back with a lot more. Don't go away.